Welcome all of you risk takers and truth seekers to podcast Life the Battlefield. Today we're going to start with question. My question for all of you, it's very simple. You don't need to answer to me, but answer to yourself or put in comment section below. And the question it is, does it pay off to be the criminal? Yes or no? Being the criminal is a good or bad? Or maybe some criminals are more luckier than others to create a better income after being caught and prosecuted and they serve some sentence. Today we're going to talk about Queen, bad vegan queen. Her name is SARMA MELNGAILIS. Most of you have probably heard of, maybe watched that Netflix documentary about being vegan, involving being con artist, fraud, romance, and perpetual pets, plus social media platforms, Twitter. Yeah, to those who haven't experienced it, I believe this sounds a little bit strange. But let's go start from the beginning so we can understand the story. This story is about Sarma, bad vegan queen, her scams, swindles, and frauds, and how this influenced the world around us, particularly me. Sarma, she was prosperous. Her employees admired her, and celebrities dined at her restaurant, until she met a man online and her life was permanently transformed. So this story is not just about her being bad vegan queen, but as well to all the women online. When you meet men online, ask yourself, does this man bring the goodies or bad things in your life? Now the question it is for all of you to ask yourself, how the rich, successful businesswoman become the con artist and fugitive. So we need to answer the question, Sarma MELNGAILIS, who is she? My name is Bekes. I'm the Guinness World Record holder for the longest audio broadcasting, and I spent 1,800 consecutive combat days. And my professional career in government and private sector, I investigated, interrogated spies, traitors, high crime, organized figures, and I am the bestseller published book author. All my books you can find which involving investigations and espionage, interrogation and investigative techniques, you can find on my website www.mariobekes.com.au. Now let's go start explaining who is Sarma. Sarma was born on September 10th, 1972, which makes her Virgo. Yes, she's 7 days younger than me. In the United States, I grew up in Newton, Massachusetts. Sarma's father was born in Riga, Latvia, one of the Russian republics, was a physicist at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Her mother, she was a professional chef, which obviously sparked her early interest in cooking. Sarma graduated from the Newtown North High School, then the University of Pennsylvania and Wharton School with a Bachelor in Economics. What she did, of course, naturally she moved to New York to study at the French Culinary Institute. So she has a love for food. She was gifted, obviously, by her mom. And she saw her future there. So what she did, she entered the restaurant business. She founded a restaurant after graduating from the French Culinary Institute with her then boyfriend and acclaimed chef Matthew Kenny, which immediately flopped. So she sought help from a reputable management, and thus her career began. Now you can learn from this one. Who are you going in business with? Your partner, friend, or unknown person? Or perhaps better to go on your own. Her restaurant, Pure Food and Wine, it was a New York first premium raw food restaurant, was co-founded by her and manager Jeffrey Chodron. Its location in a well-known Manhattan neighborhood quickly gained attention, and it soon found itself on the list of the top 100 restaurants in New York Magazine, according to the Platt 101 Twice magazine. Sarma MELNGAILIS restaurant has been named on Forbes list all-star New York eateries for the 5 past years. So for past 5 years, her restaurant was New York, the best of the best. But isn't it interesting how with the fraudsters and all these crimes, you have they're becoming the stars of the richest and the successful people. SARMA, she was on the Forbes list. Do you think she's the only one criminal being on the Forbes list? Put in comment section below. Just ask Dr. Google, the source of all knowledge, how many criminals has been on the Forbes list. They've been elevated from bottom to top by thanks to this list. And then turns out they are criminals. Let's go back, talk about SARMA. She is a beautiful young woman who attended prestigious business school and culinary academy, as well as the founder of the raw food movement. So she was a founder as well. She became the proprietor of one of the Manhattan's greatest restaurants, and you're on a Forbes list. SARMA soared to prominence and popularity because her entire vegan restaurant team adores her and looks up to her as a genuine and inventive leader of their dream venture. What better things you can do? I'm the business owner when your employees admiring you. SARMA has a close friendship with who? Alec Baldwin, the actor, and knows many celebrities and influential people who frequent her restaurant. Well, then comes Mr. Fox. Mrs. Fox be in love with Mr. Fox. On Twitter, then Twitter to the X. SARMA met a wonderful guy who went by numerous humorous identities like Mr. Fox and Mr. Long Bottoms. Mr. Fox appears to know exactly what to tweet in order to win the heart of SARMA. They discussed Leon, the name she gave her dog, because she has a love for her dog, and he desired to be closer to SARMA. Mr. Fox be in love with Mr. Fox. He wrote on Twitter, "It's impossible to escape." Let me just insert something very professionally into this narrative I try to explain to you for this podcast episode. Quite often you see on Facebook, and now we can see on Instagram and other social media, when you put some things about yourself in, what you like, what you don't like, what color you prefer, first name of your love, first car, where you born, date of birth, everything else. More or less, the passwords for the many people, computers actually consist from those details, date of birth, name of the dog, pet, cat, wife, father, mother, boyfriend, girlfriend, kids, and some date of births. Why you are putting those things there? SARMA, she had her dog. Mr. Fox we're gonna learn a little bit later. He was very clever man. He saw the dog and he saw the SARMA. And now the love begins. That is where this narrative begins. There's a problem in marriage and business because SARMA began dating Anthony Strangis in 2011, and she soon appointed him as the manager of her restaurant. The guy from Twitter becomes... Many people were taken aback by their relationship. Even his mother publicly expressed her confusion as to why SARMA was with her son, an ugly gambling addict. She later opened One Luck Duck Juice and Takeaway, a retail food takeaway business next to her restaurant, which did well, and then opened another, this time outside of New York. So she was very successful in the business she was running. So when things go very well, something must go badly wrong. Employees at SARMA restaurant began to leave in droves in January 2015, claiming she owed them money and had failed to pay their monthly salaries. Can you imagine 3 successful restaurants and you can't pay your staff? She later removed the post from her blog and apologized to all her readers. But she stated in an interview that low profit margins from loans and expensive components caused her salaries to be delayed. That's a lie after lie. In business, you don't talk about these things, you know what I mean? As a result, she was unable to pay her rent. But yes, she opened the 3 restaurants. She eventually presented a different story, blaming the bank entirely. So from margin to bank, that's the way the problem with the business starts. And she was very clever. A few months later, some staff returned and business picked it up for 3 months before everyone left again. Why? Due to unpaid salaries, and both restaurants were permanently closed. Let me share something with you. I'm running 2 other businesses and I have the number of employees and contractors. Every time If I was even slightly late, I will pick up the phone and say, this is the reason why I'm late. Look, business is unpredictable. Nobody can tell me that everything is a honka-dory, it's beautiful. But you can't blame bank. You can't leave your staff to work for free because restaurant makes the money. Staff can see it, number of orders, number of sales. You can't hide your margin and blame the bank or you don't make enough money if people are coming. And they're coming because you're popular. Not one restaurant, but 3 restaurants. So in business, it's very important that you understand money coming in and money coming out. Now, there is SARMA, at that stage she was married to this guy, you know what I mean? So her life was going professionally into the smithereen. Like she was, you know, she couldn't control any more downfall. But her marriage was far from idyllic. She, on the other hand, became embroiled in such an emotional game, becoming a victim of gaslighting, emotional blackmail, and Stockholm Syndrome. That's correct. SARMA gradually severed all social ties, and at the end of this harrowing tale, she sat in a car and planes, often alone, with no idea where she was going or why. She has no idea. She was traveling across the globe because of this guy, not knowing why. Now, Anthony convinced SARMA, her husband, that someone had hacked her computer and gained access to all of her accounts and email through a fictitious IT professional, allowing him to dominate her. Another lesson to learn. SARMA, she's not just a fraudster. She's a liar and she's a criminal. You are the criminal. You know, don't lie to me. This investigation is said to be shorter than you can watch on a Netflix. Netflix made this very, very well documented episode, right? So you can see in the details. But what I'm trying to share with you here, to learn something. When you run the business, ask yourself who you running business with. Who is your business partner? What they have access to, and how you are professionally divided responsibility, accountabilities in the business. This guy, her husband or whatever, boyfriend, or the guy who comes out of the blue on Twitter, who portrays himself as a CIA agent, the killer. I don't know why the women falling for these things. Look, I work in the intelligence sector, and I never spoke to people close to me where I'm working. I work in the Ministry of Defense. That's it. Boom. What are you doing? I'm just a humble guy. That's it. This guy hacked her emails, control her, you know, it was making her to travel around the globe. And I mean, like, friends who were concerned noticed her behavioral changes, depression and panic attacks. Now, based on her level of anxiety, the cutoff, she agreed, and her surrender to a man who is true gambling addict and a lunatic with delusional beliefs about supernatural abilities. SARMA is certainly victim of a cult. The guy, he says has a superpowers. Sincerely, I'm not siding with either of them, but based on what we learned from their interviews, their marriage and relationship were far from normal and healthy. And you tell me, would you stay in a relationship where you're losing the money, reputation, you're becoming unhealthy? Would you? SARMA tried to emphasize that she needed someone of her own, and that she was sorry of decisions she had made, but that she couldn't turn back because doing so would have involved admitting her significant sins. Furthermore, Glib was breathing mud because she wrecked her own reputation and company, as I say. She was going deep into mud. So what they done? They took sanctuary in several hotel rooms in Tennessee after fleeing. But they were spotted ordering pizza because Anthony was also involved in her activities and felt threatened by investigation into the firm. Strangis, her husband, and SARMA were wanted at the time for grand larceny, conspiracy to defraud, and labor law violations. The media of every topic was when SARMA was arrested was this pizza, which generated quite a commotion, like from vegan queen to the pizza eater. And you've been arrested over the pizza. Netflix takes use of the inverse association between the terms vegan and bad, making that pizza SARMA professed purity. The place was called Pure Food and Wine, was a deception. In reality, SARMA is a vegan who built a large business from the ground up and does not eat pizza. Naturally, it is possible for someone who follows a healthy diet and exercise routine to be both a victim and a cheater. The question is, but what exactly is SARMA in all of this? SARMA later pleaded guilty to tax evasion, conspiracy to commit fraud, and stole more than $2 million. Not my money, from investors. And people loved her. He had already agreed to take a guilty plea and serve 1 to 3 years in prison. They were both fined, but Strangis was far higher. During the course of this tale, she filed for divorce in 2019 and blamed her husband for everything. Why not her? Anthony, she claims, deceived and fooled her into letting him manage the restaurant, promising to enhance it and making an odd commitment to her pet dog, Leon, immortal. He was supposed to make her dog, Leon, immortal. You know when I told you that he has superpowers? He told her, I'm gonna make your dog immortal. SARMA appears to have gone insane. Her friend says she truly believed her dog would live forever. She continued to discuss her strange marriage with Anthony, claiming that he kept putting her through the tests to prove her loyalty to him, one of which asked her to choose between giving him money or oral sex while blindfolded. That's interesting. The challenge was for her to accept that gained weight to show her love for him, and he said that her dog Leon was in his previous life and the three of them had lived together for 1,000 years. Yes, of course, you need to think about this one. It's the most terrifying nightmare you ever had. She once commented, I'd rather have terminal cancer than this because at least I wouldn't be the reason. Who normal says such a thing? SARMA currently enjoys her life away from spotlight, enjoying her dog Leon, and frequently posting of her daily activities on Instagram. She has about 70,000 or 80,000 followers currently on Instagram. Instead of concluding, I want to pose a question to myself and all of you. Are you ready, guys? Why are so many women and men willing to believe fairy stories and pay for them, in this case with their own credibility, millions of money and the days and months and years in prison? Put in question below your answer. Now, I'd like to give a quick update as from today. SARMA is absolutely super busy on social media, currently talking about the production of the part 2 of her show, Bad Vegan Queen. Now, she says that Netflix should not call this documentary, should they call this differently? I can't say, I'm not a medical professional. Does SARMA has any issues in her life or not, how she lives her life? But a few things during that I watched the documentary, which I'm inviting to watch. She was manipulated. She was being taken voluntarily to become that Stockholm syndrome type of hostage. But one thing I want you to ask yourself, who are you letting in your life? Entire lesson of this is to ask yourself, who are the people around you, particularly women who are affording themselves to being taken as a fools by the men online, telling them that they are spies, they are contract killers, I can't tell you this, I can't tell you that. SARMA, she had every possible tool on her disposal to find out who that man it is. After all, she knew it, Alec Baldwin. I love my coffee cup, Life the Battlefield. As I said before, I investigated many high organized crime figures, spies, traitors, people who think they can do better. They're all being caught. But SARMA case is something totally different. And guys, this is what you need to learn. Who you letting in your life and who is controlling what in your life. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about SARMA? Is it okay for her to become the criminal with good earnings? Thanks to Netflix, she makes good money. Okay, Netflix doesn't pay all the bills, but popularity, yeah, well, that's something different. Because many criminals think being criminal is a good thing. Sooner or later, Netflix gonna make a documentary. Wrong. Don't be that criminal. Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thank you.